Hi everyone, my name is Dévi and welcome to Book Connoisseur. Wow! So, I thought today that I would share some tips and tricks I have for reading with ADHD. Just a little bit of my background. I was diagnosed with ADHD at age 17. If you want to know, it's been 15 years. So I was medicated for my ADHD from age 17 through 25. And then I decided that I wanted to not be on medicine my entire life. I know there are certain situations where it was very necessary for me, like in school, especially in grad school and in college. Going off of medication hasn't had the best impact on my productivity. That came with a lot of frustration for me personally. Associating my productivity with my worth took a huge toll on my mental health, and I found solace, I found peace, I found a way forward through books. Around that time is when I started my Bookstagram, and I've been here ever since. So I thought it might be a good time to share just briefly some tips I recommend to help you both finish a book, because that can be a difficult thing to do with ADHD, or just retain the information you're reading. I have 3 main points. The first being read books you enjoy. I'm going to say it again. Read the books you enjoy. If you don't like reading classics, don't read them. If you can only make it through romance, read the romance. There's no shame in reading a specific genre that you like. I just think it's great to see people reading. I think that it's better to be reading than not reading. Yes, so I recommend reading books that you enjoy. And it might take a few tries. Go to your library, get a library card. That is amazing, because you read 10 pages of a book. Are you going to pay $30 for a book to just read 10 pages? No, you're going to force yourself to get through it. You're going to hate reading because you're forcing yourself to read something you don't like because you paid for it. So go to the library, get a book you like, try different genres. Spend some time on here in the book world, on BookTube, on Bookstagram, on Book Talk. There are great people reviewing books, great recommendations out there for any genre you could want. My next advice is not for everyone. This might not be for everyone, but for me, what works really well is book stacking. And what that means is I will have several books going at once. I have an audiobook going, I'll have several physical books, probably a romance or a fantasy book, a fiction book or a nonfiction book, and then occasionally I'll have an ebook going as well. And the reason I say this is because with this short attention span, sometimes you can read a chapter and then you need a change. You need a change to keep going, to keep reading. So I'll often, okay, I'm going to read 1 chapter of this book now, and then I'll move on to this other book. And occasionally there'll be a book that will stick. You'll be more interested in that one, and then just keep reading that one. Yeah, I think that the whole idea of habit stacking is a great way to approach books as well. The way I personally do this throughout the day as a mom of a toddler is I will constantly have a book on the go with me. I will always have a physical book or my Kindle with me in my purse. The other thing I will always bring with me is a pair of headphones, so that I always have my phone. We're all addicted to our phones. I always have my phone on me. And by having a way to listen to things privately, I can pop my headphones on if my kid falls asleep in the car and listen to an audiobook, or I can grab my book and read a few pages at a time. I just think reading into your daily life in that way really helps you finish more books, complete a book, and just stick to your plan. And the next tip, this is a tip that's not for beginner readers. I don't recommend starting here because it can cause you to slow down and lose your momentum and potentially lose your interest in reading as a whole. But if you're looking to retain more of the information that you're reading, I highly recommend annotating. This is something I've just picked up. I'm going to show you a completed book. I finished A Girl Story by Annie Ernaux, and I annotated this whole book. Some people have marked things on every single page. I try not to do that, but here's how many tabs I have, and that's everywhere I've made a highlight or a mark. And so what I do is I will, sorry, I don't have this set up currently, but I'll take the tabs off of the thing they come on, and I'll stick them on the inside cover so that those are always with this book. And then I will keep a little post-it note here marking what each color means. And some easy places to start would be quotes and vocabulary. If something stands out to you in the book, highlight it. I have the thought in my head, okay, if I think, even for a second, oh, maybe I should highlight that, I revisit it and I read it again, and then I decide, okay, yes, I will highlight it most of the time. Keep me in the habit of actively reading. Obviously, I think highlighting vocab is pretty self-explanatory. If you don't know a word, highlight it. I always tab it and then I can come back and look it up. So the other things I put in here are, this is a memoir, so I put some like self-reflection as a category, and then also my thoughts and observations on her reflections, her ideas. Yeah, and then I marked the, it's hard to see, but I don't even know if this is in focus. I marked the year 2024 because if I want to go back in the future and reread this book, I will come up with a new color scheme and keep track of it that way. So let me show you a quote. This is almost certainly going to be impossible to see. I highlighted here, I used a gray marker to highlight for this book, the Tombow brush dual pens. These are incredible for highlighting in books because they will not bleed to the other side. I've been converted. These are the only highlighters I will use in my books because I know I'm not ruining them by doing so. I really like their like faint neutral colors. I like to match my highlighter to the cover and to the tabs, which is why I picked gray for this one. But they have like super subtle highlighters. They're not like those neon colors that we used as kids. And then my other advice would be for annotating would be, don't be afraid to write in the margin. If it's your book, write in the book. It makes it all the more special. It's a conversation between you and the author. By recording your conversation on your side in the book directly will make it that more special for someone else to pick up later. You know, maybe I'm like a romantic in that sense, but like I always think, oh, my kids will have my collection of books that I liked enough to annotate and want to retain, and they'll be able to see all my thoughts after I'm gone. Yeah, that's silly, but yeah. Don't think that there's someone over your shoulder judging you. Honestly, like, I keep reminding myself, I'm not that important. Nobody cares. This isn't gonna get published in, I don't know, the Times. Yeah. Just jump in with both feet and see how it goes. That's my advice for annotating. In the progress of annotating Agua Viva by Clarice Lispector, I need to get like an envelope or something to keep these all in, but I sort of like just keep my supplies at the spot I am in the book. And what I'll do is I'll have the highlighter and a pen. I will tell you what pens these are. Pentel Arts Hybrid Technica and 0.3, but like I don't like them that much, so I'm looking for other pens. I will say they do not bleed, which is good, but sometimes the ink doesn't come out very well. And then I often will keep my little key on the notepad itself until I'm finished with it. So as I'm going through the book, I will add different categories as I see fit. And then for this book, I have my little set of tabs still not attached to the book. And then if you don't like to write physically in your book, I have these larger post-it notes that I really love. I like take notes as I'm going, and then I'll stick it in the back of the book. Or if it's relevant to a certain page, I'll stick it on that page. I also really love these tabs that I got. They come in packs, and they have like these 3 different designs, so you can like choose based on the book or based on what you feel. Yeah, and they've all been working really well for me. I'm probably gonna order another set. I think they sell out a lot online, but I will link those in the description box as well. And one other tip for as you're reading is you can use this to follow along wherever you are in the book. So often I think something that can distract people is they skip ahead as they read, and I think that following along like this can be helpful. Okay, so those are my tips for reading with ADHD. I'd love to hear your story. Do you have ADHD? Do you have other learning disabilities that may impact your ability to read, or are physical disabilities as well? Let me know how you cope with them. I'm very interested. I think that there's a way for everyone to read, and that if you find it difficult, there is a way for you to overcome, and it's just a matter of figuring out what that is. So thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did. I will be back soon with another video. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.